Hi, thank you for joining us here on Insert Clever Title. Tonight we have a very special episode for you. The first is about Podception, who has a discussion about home movie viewing versus movie theaters. Now, I don't know about you, Rod, but I'd rather just stay at home and watch movies.
And in the second segment, we'll be interviewing Charles, who's the owner and proprietor of Ghost Tours, located right down in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So sit back, relax, and enjoy both of the shows.
Good night.
Hi, welcome to What's Happening Now. Tonight we have a very special Halloween edition in store. We were able to interview Charles from Ghost Tours, and he actually gave us some really interesting facts of what he does. We will go to Rod, who will be interviewing Charles as we speak. Rod?
Entertain yourselves. I'm Roger Henson, and here with me on the show today is Charles, owner and operator of Ghost Tours, located in downtown Green Bay. Hi, Charles, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Rod. Nice to meet you.
Okay, tell us a little bit about Ghost Tours and how you got started giving Ghost Tours.
That's a good question. It's a long story, but I'll try to make it short. It all started about 20 years ago when my father passed. I had cancer. And what happened was he visited my firstborn after he passed. So that kind of got my fascination with ghosts and spirits and what happens after the afterworld when you die. I did a lot of research, a lot of into stories and such of other people's occurrences. And then about 5 years ago, well, it took me 2.5 years to get this ghost tour together. I did two, actually. I did a walking tour and a bus tour. But the history took me to about 2.5 years. I started asking people around town about ghost stories and haunted locations in downtown district, if there's any buildings, commercial buildings that we could possibly get a tour together. And I found a few, and then I took about 2.5 years to do the research, the history, and the ghost stories are kind of like that's a word. The history with the stories to see if I can find the death records and so forth, to verify the stories of what possibly was happening in these buildings. And that's what happened, I guess. So I've been doing the bus tour about 5 years, and the walking tour is my second year now.
Okay, all right. Okay, how did you become interested in giving Ghost Tours? Was it something, other than the passing of your father, is it something that you saw that piqued your interest in doing this?
That's a good question. Well, I noticed that most major cities, Chicago, Milwaukee, Minnesota, a lot of them have ghost tours, some form of them. And I thought, well, Green Bay is a big city. We're the 12th oldest city and the third largest in the state. And I thought we should have one, at least a history tour. I thought would be important. And so that's kind of piqued my interest. So I went on Fish Creek and Sturgeon Bay in Manhattan, and I went on their tour. Really enjoyed it. Loved the idea of telling stories, hearing people's lives, and seeing interesting buildings. So that kind of piqued my interest. I like getting into different buildings. A lot of times, buildings you wouldn't even think about going into, we get into. So it's kind of fun. So that's
okay. Now, what are some of the things that people will see while you're giving the ghost tours?
That's a good question. Well, you'll see the interior of some of the buildings. Like one of them is Captain's Bluff Winery. And we go in there and we talk firsthand experience of the people that work here, what's happening to them. We also do a little ghost hunting. I have an EMF meter, electromagnetic field detector, which works on the principle that a ghost is trying to manifest or show itself, and it draws energy in that spot, and this should detect that energy. So I always say if it goes red, there's something dead. So that's something. So we do a little of that, and we also do a little.
So we're all right now.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're not. No dead here.
Okay.
No.
Experience that tell you. So, is the ghost tours? Is that year round, and do you have an age limit? Can smaller kids come?
Yes, small kids. I've had them as young as 5 or 6 on there, even though that their attention span is a little too young at that age. But it is family friendly. I mean, you can have children on there. I talk about murder and deceit, but it's all clean. I mean, I don't go into graphic detail. I mean, I tell the story of what happened, and I leave it at that. And
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So, the buildings that you choose, they have a history of, the supernatural going on, and is that how you pick the places that you go to?
That is correct. Yeah. I asked around and would find out the places were believed to be haunted, and I often would walk in and talk to the owners, see what their experiences are. If they were having experiences, and if they were, then I would research it. So I'd see who may it be, and I'd find out the death records, go through the histories, the owners of the building, and see if any of them died mysteriously or unexpectedly or even naturally,
Yeah.
and try to verify through description. Some of them do have descriptions of the people that see. So.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe in ghosts, but I believe in the afterlife. And like I say, I've seen people that I know people that have experienced that. So, okay, well, that will conclude our show. And I would like to thank Charles, owner and operator of Ghost Tours, located here in Green Bay. And thank you for coming to the show and giving us some insight on Ghost Tours. And it sounds like a real interesting and entertaining happening. And I would like to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. We can probably edit this out. The Ghost Tours are located in downtown Green Bay. So stop in and take a tour. You'll never know what you might see.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Podception. Today we're going to talk about the difference between home movie viewing and going to the theater. Luke, we'll start with you. What are your opinions and which do you prefer?
Yeah, I prefer going to the theater based on graphics and like the quality of the film, mostly action heavy or horror heavy, because then you've got the whole aspect of the audience there with you to kind of give more of a feeling to it. But if it's something that is not in that area or genre, I'd rather watch it on TV because you don't need that whole experience.
So for you, it's like the people around you, not like the fact that it's a giant screen and an amazing sound system.
Well, it is that too.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's just that there's
Yeah.
also the aspect of the people. Like you'd rather be at a movie where you're going to get a huge reaction out of a crowd, so it kind of feels more like you all get into it at the same time.
Sure.
Because it pulls you more into the film. But if it doesn't pull you in, you're not going to want to spend $15 to go see it.
Yeah, I agree with you there because the first time I saw the first Transformers movie, when Optimus Prime first transformed, people actually stood up and cheered. And you're not going to get that, sitting in your house or whatever.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
I thought that was
See
pretty cool.
Yeah. And for me, it's sort of the difference between the home experience. It's sort of autonomous versus a shared experience. Like at home, you can pick whatever cut you want. You can set your sound. If some dingbat's cell phone goes off, you know whose it is, and you can answer it or not. You can stop the movie. And then or the shared experience. And I think I agree with you guys. It's like if it's big, special effects heavy, sound heavy. I like it for the tech stuff the theater offers, and the shared experience can be cool.
Yeah, I mean, for movies like comedy and stuff like that, I'd rather just watch at home. And for the most part, I usually wait for those to come out on DVD.
Yeah. I kind of do. I think the last movie I saw, and the other thing is disposable income. Like, how much money I have, that's always a factor, like, because if you're going solo or with a date, it's like, what am I going to be spending versus what I get from that experience? Yeah. And if it's not something I'm really into, it's like, man, I can just either Netflix or, I don't know if anybody rents DVDs anymore. I do.
Hey, Redbox could be nice. It's easy.
Yeah. And I think Netflix still does hard copies if you want.
Yeah, there's some movies you can only get hard copy of.
Okay.
And back when I used to live in Manawak, my week consisted of going to work, and renting like 7 movies for the week. And I'd watch a movie every night, and then when I was done with all 7, I'd bring them in on my way to work, and then on my way out of work, I'd grab 7 more movies. And
So you watched a lot of movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the whole Netflix, Hulu, all those different programs that you can watch things on? Do you think that's a really good thing?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I feel like it's a great service. It's just another way people can get content that you're interested in. Yeah, monthly subscription, and I mean Netflix is cool. You get a monthly subscription of stream plus hard copy stuff that is send it back whenever. That's pretty cool. What do you think?
I think it's a great way for extra distribution and ease of access, which is great for watching movies because you want to relax to watch a movie to begin with, so you don't want to like be hunting it down everywhere. Especially if it's like an indie movie that you otherwise couldn't get a hold of. Sometimes like Hulu has great amounts of indie movies on there that if I actually had Plus, I'd be able to watch.
Okay, now we've come to the end of the show where we do our random topic. I'll put 30 seconds on the clock. Luke will give us a random topic, and then we rapid fire around and see what we can name off about it. Luke, what is the topic?
Today's random topic is birth.
Birth. Okay,
Wow.
Are you guys ready?
Go.
30 seconds, and we'll start with Darren. Go.
Death.
Hospital.
Mothers.
Afterbirth.
Fathers.
We are alive because of it.
Elephant in the room. Sex.
Sisters.
What?
Sticking with family.
Oh!
Bodily fluid, chemicals. I don't know what I was trying to say.
Did we say afterbirth?
Yes.
Yes.
Sex.
You just
Said that.
Sex.
So,
It's different.
I think that's going to be it for today's podcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
That interview with Charles was pretty nice, Rod.
Yes, and to learn about the different places down at the tour sounds really exciting.
Thank you for joining us here on episode 118, Insert Clever Title.
See you next week.